Hello and welcome. Let's do some calculations amongst the Fibonacci for Litecoin. And I had this line drawn in at 152.9. Obviously, breaking down below this, it has been a fast move. And here we are. This last little area where it was is where it is now just approached. So let's do the calculation. I take the high, which is about 189. And I divide it by the low of like 680 something, and that 680 something translates to 684, which means that 1488 would have represented the roughly here the 23% down move. Not really a great Fibonacci hit at all, given that it pierced nicely above it, and it broke down below. Which on the 23, I'm not really looking much at that. I'm going to focus on a 38.2% down move. So high divided by low to the root of 0.618. That represents 61.8% from low to high, or thus 38.2 from high to this number. That comes in at 1282. So therefore, let me just uh, put the settings in because that's where we pretty much stand right now. So it's at a very interesting time. Will there be a level of support? It's doing this. Meanwhile, Bitcoin, of course, is showing great moves and progress as far as it's set up to the upside. Let's take a look at the next number just in case. It's that even thousand number. That is just a massive number, that 1,000. And the fact that it happens to coincide on a key Fibonacci number, well, really not big of a surprise. And looking at Litecoin on the weekly against BTC, just now coming down for the first time to this 18 as it left above it, breaking. Well, the low was the 88 handle, so it broke through like 90 or below that 100, getting above that level of resistance. And of course, since that play on the weekly, is now just finally correcting within it. When you have this big space, that's why in here this emphasized more towards why this is the must hold on the monthly chart. The 18 average of highs and lows just magically happens to coincide with both of these key points along the way. And if we do continue on choppy action, maybe could continue to go and down towards here. But at the same point, maybe a big correctionary move is going to come later after this thing has significantly good gains. That's what shopping markets are often going to do, or have good gains above and below the average. We can see here there was a good gain getting above here, a big loss below the 18 on this one. That having any type of big gain in this area here isn't a surprise. But with that being said, having any type of big selling, well, I guess time will only tell. Looking at Bitcoin prices, it was a day that wasn't within what the trend was. The last 2 days is a statement breaking out of the consolidation from the 18. It was breaking out, leaving the correctionary retracement move from point A high, where it's a little below where it stands now, to this level there. So far, it's only been a few hours in, 1.5 hours. It could be a pause day. It could be a failed breakout. It could be a real breakout with continuation move higher, as I'd be looking for this to have a pretty phenomenal move up to the 63 and change mark. As it's just more times than not, you go back to key areas where you came from, and we're not there yet. Nowhere on these lows did ever really go below the 57-ish hundred level. So still a couple $100 below where these key lows were. And usually it does go above these lines when they do go there. So a play price action move going to 767, 68 is even just a conservative level above it, like 66 and a half is most certainly to me a conservative prediction for where a next move can come into play. This is still overextended above the 18, but it's done so with a couple of pauses that's just starting to break higher again. So I can make a case that it's not really overextended. But with it being stated, if there is going to be downside correctionary moves, these levels in here, huge hold areas, just like the Litecoin at point oh one, the 4,000 ish number must hold. I would have to think. And the interesting thing was when it got up to like say in here at 49, the must hold area would have been like 36 back in here. Now, as if it goes higher and higher, then the must hold area going the way back also does as well. And an example, say it goes up to say 7,000, then I'm going to be saying that the must hold area at that point there would be whatever the 61.8% would be from this low to whatever the high happens to be. And I'll finish it off with in Theta. But as the story goes with a lot of these altcoins, this is a market that had this phenomenal move into March and just pulling back. When we take a look at this on the weekly, just red candle, one after the next, after the next, after the next, having a total like a reverse V type formation shape. And market, that's the type of volatility that I'm looking for. Go way up, go way down, go back up big, as this does help with the accumulation. I bought a small amount of this earlier today. And against the dollar, theta just hanging in there, really at the 10-cent number, which is really interesting. That when Bitcoin goes up, a lot of these coins will just do a lot of this, just stay whatever the price area is. It did have, of course, within its gain, it went from about we'll call it a little under 5 cents, up to about 20, again down to 10, and I mean it could go to 7 and have a successful retracement there. No big surprise if something like that were to happen. Just one final note on the Theta Fuel, that if you held it during one of these times before in here, you got 5x times more T Fuel than you would have had Binance in your account. And if you're trying to find them on Binance on your wallets page, make sure that you can look at all balance zeros. So if you have it set up where it says hide the zeros, because it'll give the balance worth nothing because it still isn't available for trade on Binance. They have the coins there. You can move them off there and send them to a hardware wallet, or you could even send them to the one exchange I know you can trade them to, and that would be in that of Gate.io. There's the market in here. The is that everything? Yeah, I'm just it went way up to 4 cents, down to 1 cent in here. The only way you can trade it to is the US dollar tether. If that's what you're fine with, that's what you would get. But you can also turn your tether into whatever currency that you wish, as there's a whole bunch of ones like EOS, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ripple, Autology, so on and so forth. And when you consider it's 1 cent, and we're looking at another coin worth 10, that's like a 50% bonus. And you're going to have to do what they call the KYC, know your customer, or show your identification of identification, and call it the mugshot. And doing such, then because you need that to have access to deposit it when drawn, all that kind of stuff. So I'm deciding, you know what, it's not really worth it yet. Plus, the big factor is I'm still gonna wait this thing out. This thing has by no means crashed, and it's available for anybody who has them to be able to send the coins there, sell it on the market if they wish. But for me, I would rather just take a chance and hold on to them, especially if they do go on an exchange. If Binance does list them, then these things could just have a huge soaring move. And again, if it does it, say when Theta is in a big good spot, say Theta has a 6, 7, 8x gain or something in that nature, then this could just follow suit as well. That could be phenomenal as well. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a magnificent night. Bye bye.